Welcome to the JAMODI podcast, where we interview coaches and leaders to find out not just what they do, but how they do what they do. Becoming the best version of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. 22 years at the same school. I got to ask this question. What's one thing you would do differently if you could start over in coaching?
I would probably, obviously I would have, we're talking about assuming I knew then what I know now. Okay. Which is, would have been great in anything. But I would have made this switch a lot sooner. I look back at some of the teams and again, man, I loved running motion offense. I loved it. I mean, it was just, I just felt like, you're teaching kids how to play. You're teaching kids how to read the defense, how to come off screens, how to get yourself open as a screener as those guys cut or make their cuts off of you. I loved it, man. It was, it's a purist deal.
Yep.
But I just am so sold on how we play now. I wish I would have known enough to have made that switch then. There were some teams that we had that I think we could have given a better chance of securing a playoff spot or maybe advancing further in the playoffs had we been playing this way sooner. But again, it's just one of those things, dribble drive wasn't a big thing in 2001.
Yeah.
So,
You actually had posts.
Yeah. People were playing with their back to the basket. We were, hey, if you see their numbers, throw it in there to them, and hey,
throw it into Big Rock, right?
Yeah. And but I mean that's the easiest answer, but it's the true answer. And even if it wasn't, my very first year, I wish I would have made this switch sooner, because I think there's some teams that could have really benefited from it. Because I had some teams, and here was the problem with motion. I had a team one time that had two really good point guards. Okay. But neither one of them were very good off the ball. They weren't good off the ball. So playing them together was difficult, whereas if we were running dribble drive, they would have been perfect. It's because, with what we do now, we've always said, hey, if you can have two guys that can break the defense down and get it started, man, and you got guys around them that can shoot, that's where it's at. And that's, I look back at that particular group and think, man, I could have really served those kids so much better if we'd have been running this then.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.